And we're on. Hi everyone, welcome to our monthly Facebook Live with the Power on Heels Fund. We're really happy that you're here. Today, we are talking about finances. We're talking about business finances with our very own Soledad Tanner from Soledad Tanner Consulting LLC. And our topic for today is top 3 things you need to know in order to have a thriving business. And who's better to do that than Soledad Tanner? She actually manages businesses finance and is here to help us navigate through that. So maybe give 2 minutes for people to join, and then we start. Is that fine?
Okay, that's beautiful. Let's do that.
And I'm gonna connect in our Facebook Live so we can see as we go. And we're on. There you go. Hi everyone. Oh, perfect. Yes, we're on. There you go, see. Okay. Do we go?
Yeah, you.
Okay, so Soledad, give us a little bit of background about businesses in Houston.
It has never been a better time to start your own business. That's flat statement. If you want to start your business, the time is now. And I want to tell you a little bit more about why the time is now. I've got some statistics for you to prove the point. Between 2007 and 2016, the number of women-owned firms in the US grew 5 times their size. Texas is the #1 state for women entrepreneurship. Why is that? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Texas is very business friendly, #1, so right state to be. #2, we have no income tax, that helps a lot. And our cost of living in the state of Texas is really good, so you can start your business versus other states that are really expensive. And just good living standards, so great place, Texas, to start your business. In 2017, can you believe that women-owned business produced $1.7 trillion in sales and employ more than 9 million people and growing? And finally, the last statistic I want to tell you is that we have 12.2 million women-owned businesses in the US, and 17% of those are owned by Latina women.
Yay! So we're definitely growing, and we're starting businesses, and we're starting lots of businesses here in Texas. I know about that a little bit. So we're growing. So Soledad, can you tell us a little bit more on what are the reasons women-owned businesses are growing so fast?
Well, the law is helping us a lot. So there are more loans given to women, and there's more education is easier now than ever. So you can get a class through the internet, you can study online, but also we're great time management, so we can do multitasking, we can do multiple things at the same time. Women tend to set goals and achieve them at a higher rate.
We're disciplined?
We're more disciplined, yeah. So we start, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and you do a step 1, 2, 3, 4. So that helps when you start your business to be more organized. And there's something that we women, we collaborate among each other. So we help, we call our crew, we call all our friends when we start a business. And one tells the other one, tells the other one, tells the other one. So we take advantage of that to grow our business faster. So that it's natural for us to do that. And we need to take more advantage of that and continue to grow businesses.
Good, I know a little bit about that. Soledad, I forgot to introduce you real quick. Can you tell us a little bit about you, since we're on time, so just a little bit about you and your background, and why you're so well positioned to tell us about this.
Well, my name is Soledad Tanner. I came to the US 23 years ago to pursue my education, and I did the whole corporate life for 20 plus more years. And then I decided it was the perfect time to open my business. My background is in banking, finance, and logistics. And now I have Soledad Tanner Consulting, which is a firm that helps businesses, corporations, and executives to improve their profit and productivity through financial literacy and financial knowledge. Because you can have a great idea, but if you don't control the money, if you're not on top of your profit, if you don't check your margins, if you are not aware of your money, then there is a high probability that you're going to lose your business. So here we are teaching and showing and sharing the tips, so when you start your business, hopefully you have it for 50 years plus, and you can pass it into the next generation. That's what the idea of all of us when we start a business.
And you've been doing this for so long. I remember one time we were talking, you mentioned that each new business will probably close within 3 years.
Yes.
So
the number one reason why business fail is that they run out of money. But why people run out of money? This is it's kind of obvious that if you don't have enough cash flow, well, number one, you need to be aware how to manage your money so you don't run out of money.
Mm-hmm.
Second, you need to make sure when you start your business that you are ready to start. And how do you know that? So you need to set up a budget in advance and say, okay, how long do I need to have money for? Because my business will not start producing the first month,
we're not gonna get
or the second, or the third. So you need to sit down pre-business and say, okay, let's write down the numbers, what all the expenses we're going to have, and what is the forecast of our sales, and when we're going to start producing money. So you have enough money to support until your business idea really starts booming, right? And it's not 2 or 3 months. Most of the time when I talk to clients, people overestimate the income and underestimate the expenses. So what does it mean? So we have some people here.
Hola, Angela and Lisandra. Thank you for joining. Make sure if you have questions, you start tapping them on the chat box, or wait till the end because we're gonna have time for some questions.
So as I was saying,
budget, expenses.
So when you start your business, you think, okay, I'm gonna sell 100, and I'm gonna sell it in the first day, and you don't start selling the first day. Sometimes you don't start selling the first month. So and then it takes a while until your sales come. You have a good rhythm of sales. But I'm telling you, the expenses start day number one, and you can have an estimate. But normally, most of the companies or businesses that I talk to, they underestimate the expenses. So it's like a double effect. And so it's important that we all learn how to manage the cash flow, learn what it is, how to manage it, and so we are here for the long run.
So we survived the 3-year mark.
Yes. And then the 5, and then the 10.
And then we become billionaires. So that you talked about budgets, managing your expenses, realizing you have more expenses than income for more likely more time than you were thinking. Mm-hmm. So what type of reports should we look at to see how our business is doing? Okay, so there a basic group. There are many reports that each business can look, but there are at least, I'm going to tell you the top 3. Mm-hmm. You need to check your profit and loss statement. What is a profit and loss statement? Is a report that shows your income, your expenses, and what is left. And that report is given to you by your CPA, your bookkeeper, your financial advisor, whoever is taking control of your numbers. And if you're producing that, and if you're doing your QuickBooks by yourself, please hire an expert that teaches you and shows you. So what you're getting out of the system is what it's good numbers. It allows you to make decisions. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you need to know your sales. So you need to know who your clients are, right? So I highly recommend that every month, if you're selling, let's say 100 as a sample, make sure that you run a report that you see that client 1, 2, 3, and 4, the total is 100. So you know who you need to call back, you know who you need to provide customer service to, that you are aware of how the customers that keep coming back to you. So it's very important that you manage your clients and that you're very aware of who is your number 1, 2, 3, or who is no longer buying from you. That's very interesting. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people just look at the positive and they forget if you compare month over month, for example, and your service is something that should happen every month,
and suddenly 1 or 2 clients are no longer buying for you. Don't you agree that you should know that it's happening? So you give them a call, you visit them, you say, hey, well,
what's going on?
What's going on? Should we go for lunch or something? Make sure you don't lose business and it's invisible to you. Also, if you have multiple services or multiple lines or multiple products or departments, I also suggest people not only check the profit of the whole business, but also you take it in sections. So let's say if you produce coffee and tea, let's just say, for example, you have a business that sells 2 products, and overall the company can be making money, but let's say the coffee can be making a great profit, but maybe the tea is losing. So you want to not only to see the whole business as a unit, but also you want to see the profit of each one of the areas independently. Another report that you should check at least every quarter is the list of your vendors. So as you grow, vendors is the people that you're using to provide you materials or supplies, because if those vendors are your contractors, at the end of the year you're going to have to give them a 1099 as a proof of income. And I find almost every time that I go get a new client that I check the list of the vendors and they have 50, 100, 200 people that they have not filed the W-9 form, therefore they don't have the tax ID and therefore they cannot produce the 1099. And if you don't produce that by January 31st, then you get a fine. So it's important that you manage that every quarter. So as you're running your P&L, as your profit and loss statement, as you're running your sales report, please ask the professionals that are supporting you, or you go into your QuickBooks or the software that you use and go and check your vendors, your contractors, and make sure you have the tax ID for all the vendors so you're ready. You're ready to provide the 1099.
So we have a question. Soledad, who pays taxes on that income?
Okay, so perfect, great question.
Yeah, because we talk about income taxes, but not.
So let's say you have you are in the construction business, right? And you hire somebody to build your windows, and they are a contractor, a vendor for you. So you pay the contractor, and at the end of the year, if you pay them more than $600, the rule is that you issue them a 1099. So that is the proof that you have paid them, and you file that with the IRS, right? So the IRS already knows that contractor ABC has earned $10,000. Then contractor ABC that received the 1099 has the obligation to include that in the tax. So when they submit the tax declaration, they consider that part of the income and they pay taxes on that.
So your supplier pays taxes on that?
Yes, each one of us, yes, correct.
And welcome, Cassandra. Thank you so much for joining. Again, if you have questions, start typing them in the box or save it from the end, and we're going to have more time for questions.
Yes.
So that makes sense.
So it's important, and also now that we're talking about taxes, I want to add that when you are self-employed, you also have to make quarterly payments, estimated payments, and the next payment is going to happen next week, is Monday, September 16th for the third quarter. So it's important that you use last year's income to ask your CPA or your advisor or whoever is helping you with your taxes. You have to pay every quarter a monthly estimated tax. So when it's the end of the year, you don't owe IRS so much money. You don't pay penalties for not paying anything quarterly. So make sure you send your check for your estimated third quarter payments to the IRS by next month.
And you can also pay it online. Right?
Yes, you can pay it online. You need to open an account. But if you have not had the time to open the account, there's no excuse. Go to the post office and you mail your check.
Excellent. So do we have any more questions from the Facebook Live?
Until we wait for that, there's another very important report that I suggest you run it, I would say, at least twice a month. It's the accounts receivable report. you need to know, remember, you have worked really hard to produce your product, you have worked really hard to gain a new client, you finally sold the product, they're happy, but you haven't completed the cycle until they pay you. If they don't pay you,
you mean I actually have to bill people
Yes.
and tell them how much my product is?
you have to bill them and you have to collect. So if you don't collect, all the work that you have done behind the scenes means nothing because the money is not in the bank. So I strongly urge people to check every week, make sure nothing goes all, and that you stay in a healthy habit of healthy accounts receivable. So people can be late a couple of days, maybe they call you send a friendly reminder that they owe you money, but every day that you don't have the money with you, you are using your working capital to have your company floating. So they need to pay you. You have already provided the service. They have already agreed on the terms. So be on top of your accounts receivables. Make sure that your AR doesn't age, because the older the accounts receivable, the lower probability that you can collect. So the older, the less.
Oh, that's so sad. We want to welcome our own Veronica Martinez. And Victor and Terry, thank you so much for joining us. We're really happy that you're here. Again, if you have questions, make sure you type them. Okay, so don't let your money just sit there in somebody else's account. Just bill as quick as you can.
You want to have the money in your account. Remember that you're not running a non-profit. If you're running a non-profit, then that's a different business. But even if you run a non-profit, you run it as a for-profit. You run it as a company. So you're in the business of selling a product or a service to make money out of that and satisfy the need of a client. If you have already satisfied that need, if the customer has received the product, if they are using and enjoying it, then you need to be paid. If to help you collect, sometimes also you can go and see samples of letters, of nice letters. You can use warning to say, hey, this is a friendly reminder. I know you're busy, but would you please make sure to look at my invoice? And then you have a second reminder if after a week or so they haven't paid. Say, hey, please make sure you process my invoice. And you need to define your process. How many reminders are you going to send? And when you take a different action to collect your money. Bottom line, you need your money in your bank.
Let me accentuate that part, in the invoicing part. So you need to have your process documented, and at least you understand when you're going to send first reminder, second reminder, and third reminder. That is a very, very good reminder, even for me, when I do that.
And the process starts with determining the payment terms. So you need to know what is reasonable for your industry and your products. Some industry products you pay when you receive the service. Let's say you go and buy food, then you pay it right there. But some you have a week or 15 days or just reasonable time to process a check. But don't let something that is a week old sit there for 3 months and thinking that the other person remembers you every morning when they wake up. They don't.
Soledad, one thing that you do a lot when you are a business owner, you travel, you drive all over the place, you go from one place to another. Can you tell us more tips on how to track our expenses that may not be as obvious as we think?
I love the question. Okay, so being organized is the number one tip.
Oh, no, I know the answer to this question. The shoebox. No. You put everything on a shoebox, right?
Being organized is the number one tip I can give to everybody. So how you can pay less taxes. People tell me all the time, can you do your magic so I pay less taxes? And I say, yes, I help you being organized. So when you're organized, you know exactly how much you're spending and everything is categorized properly. So let's talk about tips. So when you travel, let's say you are in the US or wherever you travel, right? So you have to pay for food, for hotels, for taxis, for Ubers, whatever it is. So when you receive a paper receipt, sometimes you can get all of them connected email to you, so you have it, and start doing your expense reports if you have that in your company or for your business. Don't let it go more than a week, because you forget what you were doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you forget who were you having dinner with, and you forget what the topic of the conversation was. So do it often and keep all the receipts in an envelope. Now, when you are, let's say you are in construction, there's a lot of people in Houston. Houston keeps growing, a lot of people in that industry. So what happens? You have multiple houses and multiple projects that you're working, and you're driving. And you know how Houston is. You go sometimes from one side to the another side. You can be driving 50, 60, 70 miles in one day. Well, each one of those miles, if are done for business, going and visit your customers or your sites can be claimed in your deduction. So I highly recommend you have an application that tracks where you are. The most common one is Mile IQ. So check it. I don't endorse it. I use it myself. Just check in your website whatever the ones that you want tracker for miles. And I was a little skeptical at the beginning, to be honest, because I'm pride myself to be very organized, and I have everything in Excel spreadsheets, and I tested it for 2 months parallel because I wanted to prove myself that I had a better system than the application, and I have to report that I didn't. So I was losing an average of $150 per week on mileage that I was visiting my clients, because I will register the most important mileage. So let's say if I go from the office to a client and back, but I will not record any of the little ones when you go to a store to buy something for the office, and when you go to the library, or you go to other things that are company related. The small ones, the 10 miles, the 20 miles, and then those start adding up. So please, please, please track your mileage with an application. At the end of the year, there are 2 methods of doing that. Either you can you can use your credit card to put your gas, your tires, your oil change, and at the end of the year, you add all of that and you get a total. So let's say you get $10,000 in that, and then you use all your mileage, and you say, okay, how many miles I have driven this year? So let's say you have driven 15,000 miles, which is the average for a person that goes to their visit clients. Between 15 and 50,000, depending on the type of business you have. Whatever is the greatest is the one you use that year. So you have the chance to have additional expenses that decreases your base in which the taxes are calculated.
So it is already, what time is it? 7:02. So let's do a quick announcements, real quick before we wrap it up. So what's next? If you're not following us on Facebook, how are you here? But if you are, thank you so much for following us. Please share it, tell it to your friends, share it on your page. We want to reach our 1,000 followers this month, so please continue to help us. We are, I think, at 916. So please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn to your preferred social media. Those that participated in our Power Purse program are eligible for a scholarship, as you know, Soledad. So we have extended our application period to September 20th. And let me tell you, coming from someone that had lots of money in scholarships, you do not want to waste scholarship money. So if you know someone that took the program, all you have to do is fill out the application. You're halfway done. So please fill out your application.
And I want to add something. I am also the product of many scholarships, and they make a difference in your life. Follow the program, attend our events, apply for the scholarship, because you're just one step away from fulfilling your dream of studying whatever you have dreamed. And don't let money be an obstacle. You have a way. We're here to support Latinas and to continue to push more educated Latinas, and apply for the scholarship as soon as you can, so you can earn and you can go to school. How exciting!
And we're here to help you. Today is September 9th. In 10 days, we're having our Empowering Latinas in Tech program. along with our partner Anita B. From the Houston chapter, Michelle Farrell. She has been amazing organizing this event. You really do not want to miss it. You don't have to be a Latina in tech, but it is the future and you really want to be in there. We are doing it together. So we have guest speakers, Vicky Sepulveda from Google. She's a digital coach, and we have the author, Minda Hart. She's the writer of the book, The Memo. So that is the essentially the color women's versions of the Lean-In. If you have not read Lean-In, it's about sitting at the table and being empowered to speak up when you have to, especially in a corporate setting. So you do not want to miss Empowering Latinas in Tech. Again, great partnership coming from a Latina in Tech myself. So 7:05. Let's put a stop to that. Soledad, we have talked about the reasons why business stop, why they die. Some tips on how to keep them alive, budgeting, tracking your expenses. You mentioned some of the apps. You also mentioned some of the tips to find those hidden pockets of money that we might be losing on. So if you only do one or three things after this live, what would you tell our audience to do?
If I only get three dreams, three chances for
Only three.
Only three. Okay.
Only three.
Number one, when you start your business, treat it as a business, which means you don't do it informally, you do it formally. What that means is I want you to look for an accounting system, a bookkeeping system, look for experts that help you, because if you don't know where your money is, if you don't know if you have billed or have not billed, and worse, sometimes I go into business and they forget to bill. Please don't do that. Treat your business with respect, because that means treat your time with respect and your clients with respect. What do I want you to do? Get an accounting system, hire an accountant, hire someone who helps you so you know every month how far have you gone, what is missing, and what steps you need to take to achieve your goal. That's step number one. And step number two, ask the person who is helping you, or if you're doing yourself, every month I want you to sit at your desk and look at the P&L or profit and loss statement. Compare this month versus last month. Think, analyze it. Think, what did I do better this month that I didn't do last month? When you're growing, let's celebrate, but more than celebrate, try to figure out why you're growing so you can continue doing more of the same. If you didn't grow, if you went backwards, you sit down and analyze, okay, what happened this month that I did different from prior months? So you can correct. Please do not wait 13 months until it's tax time to figure out what is that you did wrong January, February last year, because you just lost 13 months of an opportunity to adjust and improve. And number three, please bill as soon as you can. Let me repeat that. Invoice your client as soon as is possible. Don't wait a month or 2 months or 3 months, because once your invoice is produced, then the clients need to see it, and then they need to process the payment, and then it will take a little bit of time until you see that money in your bank account. So hire an expert, get your accounting, check your results, bill on time, and wish you great luck and a lot of profit.
Yes. Thank you, Soledad. Thank you so much for all of those tips. I know a lot of us appreciate it. And please remember, we have our first annual Power and Heels conference coming up. This has been our baby since the start of the year. This is our big event, and it's happening November 1st. We have amazing speakers. We have beautiful graphics on our social media for you to look at all of our speakers. We are awarding the scholarships that day. You do not want to miss that. We have it set up on Eventbrite, our social media.
We will be there.
We will be there. That's all we have to say. Buy your tickets now. It's going to be, a great event, and we're really excited about it. And after that, we're going to celebrate Latinas Equal Pay Day. So as you know, our mission is to decrease Latina pay inequity. And what that means is that it takes Latinas an average of X days that equal November 20th this year to make the same amount of money that a white male would have made for last year, for the same time, for the same year. That's a lot of loss. So we do not want to celebrate that day, but we want to raise awareness to that day. So make sure that you're looking out for that event. It's gonna be great. We have an external, how do you say it? Invite? It's not a speaker, but guest that's gonna join. So tune in for that. It's a surprise. And our next Facebook Live, again, the first Monday of each month, it's gonna be October 7th.
Okay, perfect.
That's all we got. Do we have any questions? Comments? Okay, well, thank you so much, Soledad. Thank you so much, everyone that tuned in, and see you on our next Facebook Live, October 7th.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.